You know it's going to be a week when you realize that you accidentally scheduled both of your car service and exterminator service first thing Monday morning.
Bad move, Sarah. When I tried to order a banana cream pie, the totally suspect pie shop next to a bodega selling a buttload of bananas said, "Sorry, but we ran out of bananas."
That sounds suspect for sure. I disposed of 2 bodies over the weekend. Now, calm down, everybody. They weren't human bodies. I'm not a murderer, but I still felt a little like I was in an episode of Yellow Jackets.
Speaking of sketchy, I had to use a wrench to open a pint of gelato with a stuck cap. And I would have used a sledgehammer if I had one. It was cookies and cream, yo.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Have such a good day. Hello, world. Welcome back to Have Such a Good Day, the show that wants desperately for you to do just that if our life depended on it.
Episode 135. I like how you're like so calm coming into this show. You're usually like, what? But hey, welcome to the show that talks about laundry, food delivery, and champagne problems.
All the things.
All the things.
All the things that
we're here to talk it out.
And who knows what this week might bring. Because my God, was last week a doozy, Heather.
Oh my God, the last 2 weeks. Oh, I can't even. But like both doozies, but very different doozies. I don't know about you.
Such different doozies. For anybody, and we will get into this. For anybody who's just joining us, this is the show that tries to unpack the absurdity of everyday life for your and our entertainment. And maybe we'll all come away with a smile on our faces because life is pain.
Life is pain. You got to laugh so you don't cry.
Yes. Where you gotta go through pain till you laugh. I don't really know what the saying is, but we're trying to get there.
But that's what we're doing. You catch our drift, don't you?
Yeah, you catch our drift.
How's everybody doing out there?
Oh man, I hope y'all are doing good. I know that for many people, depending on where you are in the world, you're in the midst of very severe winter storms. Mm-hmm. Some of you are having babies. Some of you are just chilling on a beach. And for that, I hate you. And everything in between. So, we welcome all and thanks for being with us. We had Heather and I, just not going to be a focus of the show, but, before we jumped online, as we do once a week, we had some technical difficulties, and it was one of those things where I was like, not today, Satan. Just like, voice. I don't have it in me.
No, I know.
Fix this.
I mean, I feel
we're okay. We're okay.
We're coming in kind of hot. So apologies for that. But but we're rolling. We're rolling.
So Heather, I'm just going to get right into it. Yesterday was a day for the books. And that's saying something if you've been part of the Have Such a Good Day family for some time. So let me just set the scene.
I'm at the edge of my seat, Sarah.
So the morning started out great. I had some free time, gonna walk the dog. Sun was out, kind of cold, but we're feeling good. All of a sudden, I go downstairs and there is a dead squirrel in the driveway. And I didn't know it was dead at first. I thought, like, are you sleeping? Eyes are open. No, it was dead. And once I realized that, I was like, fuck. Okay. Shit. Okay. What do we do? What do we do about this?
Do you compost it?
And when I say we, it's like, what do I do about this? Right. And I am not kidding. I am not even 1% embellishing on this. As I'm sort of down there, like pretty upset, pretty distraught, sad. I really like squirrels.
Me too.
As I'm down there, just kind of like trying to get Otis away from the squirrel, like, okay, you got to get away from here. Like, you can't help me. I hear this like thunk where I was like, the hell, what was that? I don't know. I'm dealing with a squirrel. And at that moment, a bird, a little bird, a finch or something, I don't know, some bird just drops in front of me because it's hit my window. It flew into my window, my closed window, right? Not an open window, from outside, and just proceeds to die in front of me. And
Stupid
I was
window.
like, I was like, what just happened?
Did you look above your head to make sure like the sky wasn't falling?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I kind of was just like wide-eyed, just like, am I dreaming? Like what just happened? And what was weird, well, it wasn't weird, but like my mom was going to come over to the house. It was a Sunday. She had like things she had gotten at Costco that she wanted to give me, mom stuff.
Mhm.
And I texted her. I was like, don't come over right now. There's a bird in the driveway. You're going to run over the bird. Like, I can't, I got to like deal with stuff right now. Like, I can't have like another car in the driveway. And my driveway, I talk about this all the time, but it's hard to explain. Like, you go up an incline and then you kind of turn at the last minute. There would be no real way for a car not to run over this poor little bird. And I did not want that for the bird's sake and also cleanup sake.
Nobody wants that.
Right. So, my mom's like, okay, well, I was going to come. And I'm like, Mom, chill. Like, oh my God, I have to like deal with like death around me.
Death at your doorstep.
So my truly at my actual little
Literally.
two of them, a squirrel and a bird, two of my favorite animals.
Within minutes.
I mean, it was instantaneous.
Seconds.
Yeah. It was like, not today, Satan. Satan came yesterday. So it just so happens that my landlord, his brother-in-law, is staying here at the property. He's kind of, chilling here for a couple of months. Totally cool guy. Like him a lot. So I texted him and I was like, I need a big ask. Big ask. I have 2 dead animals in the driveway. First of all, I don't want you guys to leave because they had a car in the driveway as well. Like if they leave, same problem. And second, like, can we bury them? Like, are you like, do you know how to bury animals?
Are you capable?
Yeah. And so he was like, ah, shit. All right. Give me a minute. Okay. And I was like, yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm, standing by. So he finally comes out, we look at them and the bird was sort of like alive actually for a little while, but he passed away and I had kind of moved him out of the driveway. I kind of scooped him up and put him over in a planter and thought, well, maybe he's just shocked, but he died. They were dead, both of them. So he kind of goes like, yeah, okay. So what do you want to do, Sarah? Do you want a proper burial? I'll do that for you. And I was like, I don't even know how to where are we going to bury them? And he was like, well, we can't bury them on the property because animals will just dig them up and like make your life worse. Right. So, and we have like a little bit of a rodent problem here anyway. So like that isn't a good idea. Like, is there a place like somewhere around here that we could like pack them up and take them to so that you could feel peace, feeling like you gave them a proper burial? And I was like, not really. I feel like if someone like saw us doing that, it would be really weird, even though our intentions are good. But like, we'd have to go pretty far out there and then like dig graves. Like, property always belongs to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, so if the wrong people see you doing that, it's not going to look good. And you don't want to explain these things. And so I am going to keep this very tragic story short because I'm almost laughing about it, but it wasn't funny at all. When it was all happening, I was pretty distraught.
I would be
and
too.
Yeah, it was so sad and just like ruined my whole day. And just, I felt so bad. It was just sad. So my old linen sheets that I have told folks on episodes past, I was gonna throw out not all of them, like some of them were salvageable, but like my fitted sheet that had like the huge tear in it, we wrapped the squirrel up in the fitted sheet, and then we put the bird in a little box, and then we put them in our compost box.
Well, at least they're wrapped up in like quality material.
It was so sad. And like honestly, like I went to bed last night being like, the ghost of the squirrel and the bird will visit me tonight.
Oh,
And they didn't, and it's listen, it is what it is.
it
Like,
is
what are we
very
gonna do?
traumatic.
Like drive to like some rando, plot of land and like bury these animals only to like upset people or
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah, what do you
you know,
do? There's got to be information online, like at a animal welfare kind of place that would have advice on that.
there was a so when the bird first kind of had its accident, at first I was like, oh, it's a goner. And then I was like, still breathing. Doesn't look good. But I called Bird Rescue,
Mm.
which is, I mean, one of many
Yeah.
around here. Like, but they have them. And I explained it. And the guy was like, what kind of bird? I'm like, I don't know, a cute one. And so he's like, is it like a hawk? And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. It's like a teeny tiny, like Finchy bird. He said, send me a picture. I need to like, because they weren't going to come out here. They were like, put them in a box with a little towel or something under them, and then
Hmm.
we'll see what we can do. Between then and 5 minutes later, the bird had obviously gone to heaven. But he got my picture and he wrote back and he was like, yeah, we wouldn't have taken that bird.
Oh,
It's just like a little, whatever. That was so sad to
that
me.
really is. And the thing is, it happens here too. We had a baby owl hit the window, and the noise is awful.
Oh,
And it was
horrible.
super stunned for like, I mean, honestly, my heart was racing. I was like very upset. Like I was very
Yeah, yeah.
traumatized. And he was so cute. And he was looking up at us with his like crossed eyes. And he ended up flying away, but it took a while. And honestly, I'm like tempted to buy those. Do you know that there's these decals you can put on your windows to
Yeah,
deter
yeah.
birds? Because like we have a lot of windows and we have a lot of birds, and I would not say it happens even once a month, thank God. But I totally feel your pain because it has happened before, and you feel so responsible because you're like, well, it's my window. It killed the bird. Like at least I do. I feel
And
terrible.
I totally. And this was so I've talked on the show before about, kind of trying to like give you a sense of my house because it's unusual. It's almost all windows. I mean, the whole house is windows, for better, for
Mhm.
worse. But that said, in the winter, we're not getting a lot of direct sun. Like the direct sun doesn't really start hitting this property until about March, which can
Mhm.
be, sort of like sad and cold and depressing in its own way. But I don't know why the bird thought that it was a way into or out of anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, it just
It's a
sucked.
very common thing. It's just like
Yeah,
roadkill. It's like, what do you do? What can you do?
I know.
We build these houses, the birds get confused, they think it's a throughway, and then
Yeah.
then it's just like this, shock. And it's horrible. I mean, Sarah, this is a really hard story to follow. Animal death. I mean, it's got to be the saddest.
Yeah, and I don't want to bring anybody down at all, but it was just like it was this ridiculous thing that I dealt with, and here I am just kind of being like, okay, world's my oyster, having my coffee, gonna go on a nice long walk, listen to some podcasts, and then it was like, I'm just surrounded by death. So anyway, shout out to the guy that lives on our property temporarily right now because he did help me. I'm kind of crying and sort of like being like, I'm sorry, I'm crying. And he's like, dude, it's okay, it's okay,
Yeah.
but it was a lot. So
Well, rest in peace, Mr. Squirrel and Mr.
Mr.
Bird. Or
Bird, yeah, yeah, and with any luck, I mean, I've never even seen a dead squirrel here before. I've had the dead bird happen once before. But they are in a better place. One can only hope.
yes, with all the other wonderful people that we have lost, people and animals.
It's
Maybe
true.
there was
Yeah.
Sam and Oscar and all the animals that we've
Oh,
had our whole lives.
totally. Yeah. And they're
Lucy
all
and
just like, woo woo,
yeah,
having
it's
banana
like
cream pie in
they're they're
heaven.
like zippity doo dahing all over the place.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're like,
We have to think that.
y'all suffer a lot down on Earth. Just wait till you get to where we are now.
Gosh, wouldn't that be amazing? God, I really hope it's that
I
way.
can only hope, like, truly. I mean, I am not a very religious person. In fact, I'm
Uh-uh.
not at all. But
Uh-uh.
I can only imagine, like, wouldn't that be just the best?
Oh, the best.
Where
And
like
you'll never,
you go through the Rainbow Bridge, and you're like, oh,
this is
cool.
what it's all about, but you can never
Yeah.
report back. Like that's the hitch.
No, yeah,
You
no one will
can't. You
ever
have
know
to go
until they get
yourself.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
like it's too bad you couldn't just send a note, say like, don't be so upset because I'm in a good place. But that's the hitch.
Well, and I think that, I mean, gosh, I can only imagine that you've thought a lot about this over the
Yeah,
last
a
couple
lot.
of years.
Hmm.
I think about this, I mean, not like every second of my day, but like pretty regularly about
Yeah,
my dad,
sure.
and like when he had first passed away, you would have people kind of be like, oh, he came to me in a dream. And I'm like, well, he didn't
Mhm.
come into my dream. Like, why
Yeah.
would he go to your dream? Like, that didn't make sense.
Hmm.
Like you barely even knew him. You like just like worked at his school. And it really bothered me,
Hmm.
or someone saying like, oh, I could see him, like writing something in the clouds in the sky, and that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
that bothered me too, because I'm like, no, it would be directed towards me,
Yeah.
not you. And
Yeah.
I finally had to kind of let all that go and be like, people miss other people. And so they hold on to things that make sense to them.
Exactly. And I've had the same exact experience. Someone gave me a book. It's called Signs. It's all about that, like seeing light or something that like a bird or whatever it is that you're like, oh, there they are. And I have a hard time with that too. Cause I'm like, okay, dad, where are you? Give me a sign. And like, I don't really get that. I'm not very religious. I'm not, I'd say I'm spiritual, but like, I like to think that in my cool imagination, they are like having a good time wherever they are. And they're all together and dancing and laughing and whatever. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I imagine. That's kind of what, when I'm feeling optimistic, but yeah, it's well, I hate to change the subject, but it's
Please do.
been
I'm begging you.
I swear, I mean, I really keeping busy is good because you tend to not think about your mortality or death or any of those things because you're really busy. But
Yeah.
it's been, I think the last week we talked, it was a very busy week with kind of extreme adulting. There was a lot of heavy shit that came down. Well, this week was like the polar opposite. And it has been a very exciting week. We had a lot of social plans back to back to back, like every night last week and over the weekend. Almost too exciting, like too much social stuff.
You
I
felt a
love
little depleted.
a little depleted, where we had to kind of back out of like the third night of like going to this like big dinner. And I'm just like, I can't do 3 nights in a row. And I love having friends visit. I do, like all y'all out there who come visit me. It's also a lot of energy. My sister was here too for the last month. We had a lot on the agenda. Like it was a lot of talking and coordinating and herding cats and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was also my boyfriend's birthday last week. And the friend who came up, it was also his birthday. So many February birthdays. I'm like, So anyway, I'm getting prepared for this big week. So I go to Target. I'm actually preparing for my boyfriend's birthday. I've never done this before, but I got like so nuts at Target. I was like, party hats, bazookas, big bows, crazy birthday candles. I almost got a piñata. It was like so touch and go. I was like, okay, I've got to keep this under control. But I wanted to do like a crazy, like wacky, fun. I just wanted to
Yeah.
go all
Just
out.
make
I
it
thought it would
fun.
be
Yeah.
fun. And it actually was. It was all those little accessories made it like that much more fun. And I special ordered a coconut cream pie. Holy shit balls. I don't have a lot of experience with cream pies. I don't know. Maybe they're not very Californian. I don't think about pie all that often, but when I do, I think more about fruit pie, but not cream pie. Honestly, I don't even know how many bites of cream pie I've had in my lifetime. Probably not that many, but cream pies are where it's at. Seriously.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we, referencing top of the show, we did try to order a banana cream pie because for some reason I know that my boyfriend likes those. Not that we've ever had it together, but it came up in conversation at some point. Maybe it's a Midwest thing. I don't know. So there is literally a homemade pie shop in town, and they do a really good job. Like you special order it, takes 48 hours. They have a bunch of different kinds of cream pies, and they do empanadas, like savory empanadas and that kind of thing. Yeah, you would like it. And they actually have a cider bar there, so you can get like ciders and beers. It's a cool spot. And so I'm like so pumped, I'm like, banana cream pie. I don't even know if I've ever had that. So, that was on their menu. So we go in and order it, and it was just this whole shit show that they were having a banana shortage, even though I, just came from next door where I bought like a bunch of bananas. We totally didn't understand like what the deal was. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into that story. That was actually kind of a doozy, but that pie, man, that pie, Sarah, and it wasn't even like overly sweet, even though it's like basically the top half is like whipped cream. And then it's the cream.
Yeah. And then the crust.
Yeah. It was a coconut cream pie, and we cut up bananas and just put them on top. And it actually worked really well. It tasted like a banana coconut.
So cute.
It was so good. And it had a cocoa layer like below the cream. It wasn't like straight up chocolate. It was more like cocoa. And then it had like the crust.
Just gave it like a little earthy.
Yes. Oh, it was so delicious. Honestly, like I have a friend coming up for her birthday this month. I'm totally getting her one.
It's funny that I talk about pies often with other people because I am pie forward. I also consider myself a bit of a pie aficionado. The cream pie is for me still like, give me apple pie, berry pie.
Sure, of course.
Pumpkin pie, like all day, like still super great. But a cream pie, I think, and coconut cream sounds amazing because I love all things coconut. Like I just bathe me in coconut.
Okay, I'm getting you one of these.
Like when you murder me, bury me with coconut. Totally. Everything will be fine. We'll be cool. But and even though I love chocolate, and chocolate is my go-to. A vanilla cream pie.
Oh my God. Me too.
Is just because, and you can like put vanilla stuff on top of it. Little nibs, whatever you want to do. Maybe some cinnamon.
Seriously.
It is the best.
Endless possibilities. Yeah. And it's funny. I don't know all the pies they make, but they do like a chocolate cream pie. They do like a pudding thing. But like, vanilla for me is like my flavor choice. I even want to eat my vanilla lotion. But but speaking of sweets, I have a funny little story that happened while we were out and about this week because my animals are so high maintenance. Like they are pissed off when we leave for a long period of time. So we were out every evening last week. And so it was like night 2 or 3 or something. And we're out. We're out to like 11. It wasn't that late, but it was later than we usually.
Yeah. You're having an evening.
Exactly. And so we come home. Okay. Well, first of all, my sister, it was my boyfriend's birthday. So it was all these presents and all this stuff. And we spoiled him. And so my sister gave him a bag of retro candy. It was just like part of her gift. It was like Nerds and Pop Rocks and Good and Plenty's and some other stuff. And it was like in a little like,
is the worst.
I know, totally. Apparently my boyfriend likes them. And I don't even know how my sister knew because I didn't even know. So that was their thing. I don't know.
More for you, Elijah.
Exactly.
More for you.
And it was in just like a small handle, like paper bag, like a small one though. Like I can't really describe it. Just a small bag. And I came home and Charlie the cat is desperately meowing at the door. I open the door and he's literally like desperate, waiting for us to come home. He has the candy bag stuck over his head. It was so funny. I almost peed my pants. It was literally stuck over his neck, over his head. He could not get out of it. I don't even know how long. And it wasn't like it was strangling him. It was just confusing like, hey, he couldn't get it off. And so we walked further in the house. We were just like, you can totally sense something went down. You're like, okay, what is this bag? we didn't even remember that that bag was where the candy was, because it was up in my boyfriend's office. It was like way out of the way. We walk further in the house and see like a trail of like Good and Plenty's all over the front room, up the stairs, into the office, like where he got them from, nerds everywhere. It was just hilarious. I mean, maybe you had to be there.
Oh, especially because you know that he was like, I'm getting into this bag.
Oh,
and
no,
then
he
was
does
like, I don't
this.
want any of this. There's no meat in here. There's no cat treats. Like this was like the worst present ever.
Some of the Good and Plenty's were chewed on, and I know that he tried them because he's very adventurous with food. Like he'll eat anything.
I mean,
He's
a
like a
cat
dog.
that eats licorice. I don't know. You know, he might need some psychiatric help.
I know. But yes, Good and Plenty's is a very strange choice. But I would like to know from you guys, do you have a foolish critter that does these antics when you go away? Or do you like cream pie? Email us
Or
at hi,
both.
have such a good day. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
not
or it's an
mutually
and or
exclusive.
situation here.
Totally. It's so funny as we're talking about this. I don't think Otis can hear us because I'm wearing headphones, but he's sort of like perked up and is like looking at me now, like, what's up? Are we going to do something fun today? Yeah, no, buddy.
Oat.
Oh, Otis. So I had mentioned that my friend, I consider him a friend, but my landlord's brother-in-law is staying on the property for a bit. It's actually kind of nice because it's I made this choice. I don't know, like maybe like a couple months ago to stop wearing earplugs at night.
Oh.
And you know, I don't know
Big
if I
move.
even mentioned that I wear them, but I mean, the entire time that I've lived here, and many times in the past before, when I've lived in apartments where, I don't know, like in San Francisco, like maybe I was on a bus line, or I lived in a neighborhood where we lived in the Haight. I mean, it was loud. You had to wear earplugs if you wanted to like sleep, because people would be outside rummaging on things or yelling or whatever. But I was wearing earplugs without fail every night here for over 2 years. And that bothers me for a variety of reasons. First of all, it's kind of like, I love that cocoon feeling. I love feeling like I can't hear or see anything, you know? So like eye mask, earplugs is like, that's my ideal little sleeping situation. But I also live alone. And yeah, sure, sometimes there are a bunch of people on the property, but not all the time. And because we had some storms recently and just like a bunch of redwood branches fall down. It's a whole story. The gate, the outside gate, which is, listen, if somebody wants to get on the property, they could like scale the gate, right? I mean, the gate is not made of poison, but it psychologically for me, if it's open and kind of stuck, it like, I have a hard time like chilling out. And when it's closed, I feel good at the end of the night. Like, okay, we're all tucked in, you know? So, you know, we had all this gate issues and just general kind of like, no one really suggests that you wear earplugs every night. They're kind of like, maybe not that great for your ears. You know, you kind of want your ears to like,
if someone's breaking in or if there's an emergency.
Or also just kind of like, you know, like could like make wax impacted. And, you know, it's maybe not like the greatest idea, even if you're like being, you know, really conscious and, you know, cleaning everything out. Ears are delicate. So I was like, okay, so I'm just not going to wear them. I'm just not going to wear them. And I will tell you, it was like I felt like I was detoxing off drugs. The first few nights, like the first night I was like, I really want my earplugs. Like I feel so naked. You know, like putting covers over my head doesn't work the same way, because then your whole head is really hot. And it's also not really the same. You know, like I was like, I just want my earplugs. And so I was like, okay, you know, got through the first night, got through the second night, got through the third. And this is, you know, we're okay now, you know, crisis averted. I just stuck it out. But one of the things that I have realized that happens late at night in my weird little forest that I live in is all sorts of nocturnal sounds. Yeah. And I just didn't hear them before, because you got a good set of earplugs, you hear almost nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
unless it's like a foghorn or something, like so like part of that is like, Otis chewing on his foot in the middle of the night where I'm like, stop it, and then that's fine, or like Ralphie, like maybe using a litter box where I'm like, oh, well, he should do that. That's fine. I just wouldn't have heard this otherwise. But then there was like other sort of like weird, like who's making that noise? And I kind of look at the time, at like 2:30 a.m., let's say. I've been asleep for hours. Like, who's making that noise? Is there somebody who's gonna like Freddy Krueger coming up to my front door?
I thought it was Jason.
Well, it could be either of them. I don't want either of them. Like, neither are invited. But like just kind of like weird stuff. And the only reason that I have no reason to believe that anybody is trying to like break into my house kind of thing. But you got to be on your toes. And you got to be on your toes, especially when you live in a spot where shady stuff is happening. Like,
sure.
I'm not involved. And I know a lot of these people. There's a little bit of like a, yes, good morning to you too, sir. Please act accordingly today kind of thing, like when I'm like walking Otis in the morning type thing. But like, I'm not getting involved. But I know enough of my neighbors to know that there is probably weird stuff going on at 2:30 in the morning that I don't want any part of, but I never really heard before. And like, this is not like crazy yelling, or like crazy music. It's more of just, there'll be a weird car door slam where I'm like, where'd that come from? Where would the car door, who,
So are you going to go back to this earplug life?
No. I actually think it's way better that I don't.
Why?
Yeah. I don't think it's probably, and anybody who's kind of living alone or otherwise in a situation where you're like, oh, cocoon life, love it. But like, I don't feel comfortable doing that anymore. Please do weigh in. Hi, I'd have such a good day.com, because I just feel like I am making it, especially because we've had, so many crises here at this house, trees falling over, almost killing me, wildfires, having to, be, having to leave in the middle of the night, like quickly, where it's like, okay, everything
evacuating,
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And just like, I should probably not be, in any way making my hearing worse.
I think so. That's really the reason why you did it. Why you?
Yeah, okay. It was safe.
I think
it
that's
was more of just kind of like being vigilant, right?
Yeah,
safety and vigilance.
See, I'm depending on my boyfriend to be the vigilant one. I don't know if I can get away from my earplugs, because occasionally he will snore, and I kind of have to like nudge him. And then I also Frank the dog snores, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm ready to take that leap.
Well, I have a similar issue. Otis does not snore all night. It just depends on like what position he's in.
Exactly.
But like, there are positions where he's just like, where you're like, oh, that's so cute if I was awake.
Yeah.
But not when you're asleep. And I've kind of like yelled at him a couple of times in the middle of the night, like, roll over, like a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And, he's not, he doesn't sleep in my bed, but he sleeps on a couch that's not that far away from me. So it's been kind of a thing, but we're
gotta adapt.
Yeah.
You gotta take the time to adapt.
For over a week now.
Wow,
and I'm like,
Sarah.
I was like, okay,
good for you.
I still really miss my earplugs, but I feel like this is the right call. And at the same time, neighbors, I'm on to you. Well, because y'all are making weird sounds on the middle of the night.
Well, what about, okay, remember way back when we talked about earplugs on the show before, surprise, surprise. But remember when I said that part of the reason why I like that cocoon is it assures me that no little critters are going to crawl into my ears?
There's that.
I blame Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan, or whichever that one was where this like critter went in someone's ear and it like ruined me for life. So
I don't want to I, you know, I, if this is going to be a trigger story and you don't like
Oh no,
spiders,
no,
just,
no, yeah, yeah,
just,
no, 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 no. Don't tell me.
okay.
No.
Okay. I just want you to know that there was a moment that happened at this house
No.
where if I didn't have an earplug, that spider would have gone right in there.
No, seriously. Well, then what? How can you not have earplugs in then? Like
I'm
I would,
just I'm just flying.
you're braving it.
Yeah, I'm
You're-
like a wolf in the wild. I don't know. I you know, I've also
I'm so
well,
proud of you.
let me just before we move on, because I know this is like ew, so gross for some people. I did get my new linen sheets. Remember we talked about the linen
Yes.
sheets. They came. I washed them. They're a little stiff. You kind of
Mhm.
got to wash linen sheets like a good 5 times before
Mhm.
they start to feel like, oh yeah, part of my body.
Uh-huh.
But boy, are they nice. And they're kind of like they're a little thicker than my old sheets. So when I go to bed, and I mean, I when I'm asleep at night, like who even knows what I look like? I'm sure I'm in like lots of different positions. I'm asleep. I don't know. But when I start, it's like it looks sort of like I'm a nun, where the
Yeah.
linen sheet is like very tight over my ears and my head. My nose is clear, because I need, to
Mhm.
breathe. And it's dark, so I don't care about my eyes. And then sometimes like Ralphie the cat, will like start bugging me around 5 where I'm like, Katie. So then I'm like, okay, now pull it over your eyes because it's about to get light in this room. And so we have a whole thing. It's not a perfect system, Heather.
Nothing is, Sarah. Nothing is. Let me tell you. My God, the day I've had. But I've been in a good mood. So, and someone bought me
Good.
lunch today. It was actually pretty sweet. But also a fun little thing I got done this morning. I don't know if any of y'all have had this experience, but you know that I have Invisalign, which is like the clear braces. They're like trays
Yeah.
in your mouth. And that's why I sometimes speak funny when I say something with S's or whatever. But I had to, so part of the treatment, I have to have these trays that change out every few weeks, and they're not pulling any teeth, but a lot of times when people have braces, like I remember my sister had to get a bunch of teeth pulled because her mouth was too small, and to straighten out her crooked teeth, they had to get more room. So they're not doing that to me, thank God, because I would never even do this if they were going to pull a tooth. I mean, that sounds like the ultimate torture. But they use this really interesting little file that is like almost like a longer, or no, sorry, a wider piece of floss that has
Hmm.
little microscopic diamonds on it. And what they do is they floss in between your teeth that where the spaces where they need to get more space, and it shaves off like a portion, like a very small amount, like point something millimeter. So it's not even a full millimeter. So it's a very, very small amount. But they did that this morning. Totally worked myself up, into this worried lather because I thought that sounds awful. And I heard from some people that it was really, really gnarly, loud, and smelled weird. And I thought it was not that bad.
Well, yeah, it's like shaving bones in your body. Like, who
Yeah,
wants
it's weird
that?
to I think for me, it's like it doesn't hurt. It's like nails on a chalkboard. But like then when you actually really think about it, it's like you have to shut your brain off because when you think about what it's actually doing, that's when I start getting like the willies. But anyway,
Hmm.
I'm good to go. I don't have to go back for another like 8 weeks. So
Hmm.
I mentioned this in a previous show that I have a few new friends, and these people are from Los Angeles, and I met them up here about a year ago. They stayed in one of my cabins. We became, fast friends, super nice people. I've hung out with them a bunch. They come up here a lot. They don't always stay on our property. They kind of get around. They're like at all the cool little spots in the area because they like to explore. And they've been up here for a couple weeks now, and like we're buds. I mean, we hang out. Like we're having them over for dinner tomorrow. We hung out all last week. They had, they're very integrated into the community. They don't even live here, and they're like part of like the fancy club and all these restaurants, and they're very much so much more part of this community than I am. But they're very, very social, and they are really awesome, warm, like generous, fun, like Italians. And so there was this whole thing that was set up in advance from the wife of the husband. So it's a husband and wife. and she planned this surprise birthday party for him up here. So,
oh yeah, you told us about this last show that there
this
was
whole
going to
thing
be
went
there was
down
going to
this
be a
weekend.
surprise party. Yeah.
And there were lots of little issues along the way, you know, and I basically had to be her conspirator, her co-conspirator, because I needed to lie to his face and I had to keep the secret. And there was a lot of situations where I almost ruined it. I mean, I kind of don't have a filter, and yeah, I almost ruined it, but it was fine. And he's kind of oblivious anyway, which was kind of endearing. But it was so fun to be part of this whole like shenanigans, you know, and like all of their friends flew up from LA, and all of their friends were so cool. They were awesome people. And we had this huge dinner at this great restaurant. And it was just this like, you know, just like one of those nights where you're just like, you're clinking glasses and you're having this great time. And they're so spoiling. These people are those people that they bring us a bag of groceries every night. They knock on our door, like 3 pints of good ice cream, hence the gelato. I couldn't get the lid off. Fine wine and chocolate, and like they just spoil us all day long. And
I need some neighbors like that.
No,
My neighbors are just
incredible.
on meth.
They're incredible. And so, and you know, again, we did all these dinners, champagne, big birthday bashes, and they totally spoiled Elijah, blah, 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 whole 9 yards. And so we're still in that kind of getting to know each other phase, you know, and I had to wonder because I would say that I'm a pretty optimistic, if not sometimes Pollyannish kind of person. And I've mentioned this before. My sister, on the other hand, I would say she's much more of like a cynic. And I have like my cynical side, but I would consider her like for sure a cynic and not Pollyannish at all. And so it's just like, I had to wonder, you know, like, are they for real? Like, who are they really? Like, when did they, I was asking my boyfriend, I'm like, you know, what really grinds their gears? Like, I want to know, like, Erin is the name of the girl. And it's like, when does she really like lose her shit? You know, like what upsets her, you know, because they're just such like happy-go-lucky people. And so I just think it's really funny. And so after all these days of hanging out with their friends, you know, we gathered some intel, and all of their friends of the last 20 years assured us that they are really awesome people and they're totally legit. And it was really great. You know, not that I was really that skeptical. It was just like, these people are so nice. And I'm like, have we really gotten that cynical where you like question like the niceness of somebody? Anyway, I thought it was sort of an interesting potential, like, you know, conversation to have for another time. Like, have you guys had that experience where you've had someone be so nice to you that you're like wondering what their intentions are? Email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
Indeed. Speaking of hi@havesuchagoodday.com, we always tell you to please email us early and often. We really do like to hear all of your feedback. And by the way, for anybody who wants to join our Discord, you have to be a patron, patreon.com/havesuchagoodday at the $5 and up level. But we've had some like really cool conversations in there over the last week, and not by me, just by all of you. Like, you guys are so cool. You're just so like interesting, and you have so many thoughts. And
it's so true.
It just really warms my heart. And I know it's not about me, but like it's
all about you, Sarah. Come on.
It's all about warming my heart. Do that more. No, but really, I just, you know, I check in because I'm on like, I don't know, 9 Discords or whatever, you know, just for like various stuff. But the Have Such a Good Day Discord is just like, it's like my happy place.
It is.
You know, where we just like, yeah, we talk about TV and movies and life and milestones and just all sorts of great stuff. And you're just the best. Now, listen, if you are listening to the show now and you're not directly supporting us on Patreon, you don't have to. We want to offer that. We would prefer that, of course. You know, it gives you some perks and you have some options of, you know, cool add-ons, but we know that not everybody can do that, and that is okay. So thank you for listening. You know, tell a friend, right? Do what you can. We really appreciate that. But big old shout out to our patrons, including a couple new patrons. Ooh, Roger Miles just became a patron.
Woo woo.
Rich Breslin just became a patron.
Woo, woo.
And scrambled eggs just increased their pledge.
Oh, that scrambled eggs. They've been with us for a while. I'm so glad there's a lot of activity going on, and I'm
For
really,
sure.
my heart
And
is warm too.
yeah, it's just, I know, we know the times are tough. And even if you have like a great day, it's like then a squirrel's gonna die in your yard, and then you have to like figure out how to bury it.
You might even have such a good day.
Exactly. And we really, just big shout out and big thanks to everybody who's with us every week. We love you. And Heather and I would do this anyway.
We would.
We always say this. We would do this anyway, but like it's so much more fun to feel like we're a team.
Yeah.
Like a family.
A posse, a crew.
If I could be so bold, and not just sort of us talking into the wind. So thank you. I don't want to get too mushy about it, but thank you.
No, really, thank you so much. It's really, really cool because I look back, because we've been doing this for like years now, and I look back and we have patrons that we've had since day one that are on Discord, and like they'll kind of come and go, they'll kind of pop in and pop back out, and I'm like,
and that's cool.
I love them,
and that's cool because that's
totally
life.
Cool. And like they feel like my friends.
One of these days, I know I wouldn't suggest this right now because I can't even like think of the idea of getting on a plane right now. I'm actually thinking of doing that later this year, and I'm like already like very stressed about it. Yeah. But it would be, let's figure out. We're gonna find a field of poppies somewhere in the world. I don't know where it's gonna be, and we're all gonna like go and just like, I don't know, have some
roll
lunch.
Around.
Yeah, roll around.
Just kidding.
Whatever your vice is, it's fine. I don't care. I mean, as long as you make it there, it's all good. You're in the poppy forest. And then we could like have some vanilla cream pie and just kind of like look at the stars after the sun goes down.
We should definitely have like some kind of reunion in the world somewhere. That'd be super fun. We used to do that with our shows in the early days of internet television.
I know.
That was really fun.
Yeah. I mean, no one's stopping us. It's just, life is, for me anyway.
Life is busy.
Yeah.
It's real busy.
We'll see.
But it's really funny you mentioned poppies, and then we'll let y'all go. But
poppies will put them to sleep.
Well, Sarah, I planted a shit ton of poppies
Did you?
3 months ago. Yes. I mean, we had a few here and there when I first moved up here. No, we went nuts. So I will be sending you some poppy videos.
Oh, I love
and some
poppies.
Photos. Yeah, it's a couple are already starting to pop up, and yeah, I'll get you some.
That's so great.
Our
our dogwood tree here is not blooming or flowering yet, but we're getting there.
Oh, I love the dogwoods. Oh yeah, we're getting all of our tulips are starting to like curl up, like the green leaves. They kind of come up. They look like little heads. And we've already got some daffodils that are like fully bloomed and everything. Yeah,
there are a couple of flowering trees that I don't even know. I have to use one of my apps to figure out like, what is this? Lemon tree is on fire here. Like it's awesome. A Meyer lemon tree, and it's like there's like 20 lemons.
Yeah,
that like just need to be used by somebody right now, or they're gonna drop and get rotten and gross. So like my mom came over. I'm like, do you want any lemons? And she's like, I already got lemons out the store. And
how
I'm
many lemons?
Get more. Yeah, like put them in your water. I don't know. Like use the lemons. Like it's not gonna hurt you. But yeah, no, it's. I know that it's early February for a lot of folks like sitting under like 2 feet of snow. It's like what spring, but it's starting to happen.
I know. So I'm just saying, everybody. Groundhog thing. I mean, that groundhog tradition is hilarious. Every year that I get older, I just think it's so amusing and so silly. But I love that we do it. It's very dumb but very funny. So
doesn't mean anything,
no,
but it
means nothing.
It is. It's just funny, tradition. It's sort
really
of like the president pardoning a turkey.
Yeah, totally.
Where you're like, why are we doing this? But you kind of expect it.
I hope that we continue
that turkey
to do
doesn't have to be eaten.
Yeah. It makes you take life less seriously. And I think that we can all use a dose of that. So,
oh man, keep your head in the clouds, y'all.
Or your head in the sand. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
up or down, whatever you prefer.
What are the birds that do that? Ostriches?
Yeah, like ostriches and like emus.
I don't know about emus.
Oh, I think ostriches. I think you're right.
Yeah. They just
We'll check our
go like,
facts.
I've had it with today. Bye.
Wouldn't that be so great? Oh,
I mean, that's what I do sometimes where I'm like, linen sheets over the face. Bye.
well, it's better than putting your head in the oven. So
Indeed it is.
Okay.
On that note, Heather, I think we ought to wrap this thing up before it gets too weird. But we've loved hanging out with all of you.
yeah, we love you guys.
Thank you for joining us for episode 135.
Yeah.
I don't know the significance of that, but it's got to be significant in some
Just
way.
sounds cool. It's like three odd numbers.
Someone out there is like, oh no, I like that number.
Yeah,
you know,
I like
and
it.
if so, let us know. 136 makes me a little bit more comfortable. I don't know why. I just like even numbers, and that'll be next week.
Yeah.
Less prime. Until then, I will remain Sarah.
And I will be Heather forever.
Have such a good day.
Later.